guest on this segment, Zach?
You don't want to get the name wrong, do you?
I don't want to get the name wrong. I never try to get the name wrong.
It's okay. We have Emily Schartner in the studio.
There we go.
You're fired. How are you doing, Emily?
Emily, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm good. How are you?
We're both tired. He used a 5-hour energy, and it's backfiring.
Yeah, I'm a little jittery.
I started last time, Andrew, so I'll let you start.
Okay, well, you just went to Iowa for the NAIA National Tournament. So basically, I guess we can just start from the season, from the beginning of the season a little bit, for the basketball team's perspective. When you were beginning the season in November, did you realize what kind of team you were putting together this year and how far you'd really be able to take it?
We knew that Coach was a defensive-minded coach, and we were going to have to rely on defense. And we were kind of worried at first because our offense was pretty slow, and we knew we needed that to come together. But as long as we relied on our defense, we knew we could win games.
On paper, it looked like the season had a little bit of a slow start, and then the Carnegie Mellon game came and that win came. Just how important was that moving forward and starting that streak on the season?
Yeah, that was huge for us. I mean, Coach gave us a pretty good speech at halftime of that game, but that was definitely the turning point of our season. We got all the momentum just from that win.
So you went on that really long winning streak during the middle of the season, and how much do you think that built up your confidence going, through the rest of the way and being able to stack up, kind of a historic winning season?
Yeah, it was nice to forget what it felt like to lose, but I mean, we just took it one game at a time, and when we did eventually lose, it did bring us back down to earth, kind of, but we might have needed that.
You guys had the adversaries there in Damon. You got them the first time on Pink Day, the second biggest crowd of the season. They got you kind of the whole case of the jet lags and altering the game plan a little bit and letting them get in your zone, as my buddy Bill would like to say. And then you got them in the championship game, their biggest crowd, probably might be in Point Park history for basketball. So just how did it feel going up against Damon the whole season, just getting them to play them in kind of 3 rounds, so to say?
Yeah, we knew we wanted to, after we won the first game of the AMC playoffs, we knew we wanted to play Damon in the championship, and I mean, it was a good matchup. It was a good game, and we went in there with as much confidence as we had the first time we beat them.
How much do you think the crowd affected you, being that you got to host the tournament, the AMC tournament, for the first time this year? How much do you think the Point Park crowd was able to help the team?
The crowd's huge. I mean, when we were at Damon and that loss, their crowd, they had a crowd there, and that, I wouldn't say it hurt us, but it definitely helps the home team when you have your home crowd there.
What was my question again? Okay, I guess we'll just go with then. I've seen you guys do I saw a couple of your practices before the tournament. Just how hard is that practice and just maintaining, the level of play that you guys had throughout the season and working on it towards practice? Because a lot of people, they'll see the games, but they don't see the work that's being done in between during the practices.
Well, Coach has done a great job this year. He didn't want to burn us out, which was a great thing. I mean, he kept the practices consistent. If we were having a few days off or something, then we'd have a practice back where we'd go hard, but I mean, he really did a good job of helping us keep our legs through the whole season.
Well, when you went to Iowa for the tournament, how much do you think having that about like a week or so off in between kind of slowed the momentum? Do you think it slowed your momentum at all a little bit?
I think we needed it to have everything sink in. I mean, just from all the excitement of winning the AMC championship and the excitement of getting to go to the national tournament. So I think we needed it just to let everything calm down and refocus.
I know Coach has called you kind of, per se, the grinder of the team, just in terms of overcoming so much. Perfect point was in that final there when the whole issue with the finger. I don't want to go too much into it, but just what does it feel? You have the 19 points, and the clock goes all zeros. Katrisa spikes the ball on the ground, and it's just a madhouse in center court. How did that, just remembering it now, how was that feeling for you?
It was great. I mean, it's something that all of us are going to remember for the rest of our lives. I mean, getting to cut down the net not everybody gets to do that.
And she gets bonus points for using one of my pictures as her profile. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Made my day.
Now, Zach, since you know, you're doing a little self-promotion there, what was it like having Zach Weiss as a beat reporter for the team this season?
It was terrible for them.
No,
sure.
he's done a great job with his interviews and the articles and papers. They've all been great.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, what do you think of Andrew's interview? No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
There's
I'm
a little
just
bit
kidding.
to be desired, I know.
I know it was looking at last Monday, the whole flight. I know it was a very tough experience, but I'm sure, despite going to Chicago and then the layaway and then Omaha before busing down or whatever the case may be, just how did it feel knowing that was probably when it had to have definitely sunk in, knowing that it's Monday, game time's a couple days away or so?
I mean, we were all definitely anxious knowing that we were getting there 3 days before we actually played.
52 pickup.
Tails.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, it was a long trip, but at least we did have that time to kind of get our legs back under us and have a couple practices before we played.
So once you did get to Sioux City, what was your experience like there? Just before you even really played the game, how was it to spend your spring break basically in Sioux City, Iowa?
I mean, the team, we all get along so well that we could have been anywhere and we would have a good time together, but we got to work with some Special Olympics kids, which was, it was so much fun. It was probably one of the highlights of the trip. And practices, we practiced in a really nice facility that they had down there. All the people, the banquet was great. I mean, the people treated us really well down there.
Banquet was great until they misspelled Pittsburgh, but
I didn't even notice that.
they spelled it without the H.
Oh no.
So that was great. Pittsburgh.
So, they spelled it like
without the H. They spelled it like it was William Pitt.
19th century Pittsburgh.
They spelled it William Pitt, not Brad Pitt.
Right.
And anyways, though, in all seriousness, back to sports. Just how did it feel, the kind of parade of champions and the whole picture with the NAIA, just 32 teams as come together as one? How was that just whole feeling there?
I mean, it was definitely exciting, and they had us lined up next to the teams that we were playing and exchanging gifts, which was nice. I mean, we're all down there for the same reason, and it was nice to just get to see the competition before the games really started and talk to some of the girls on the other teams.
What was the stadium like in Sioux City? I've only seen pictures of it. It looked pretty big, actually. But what was that like compared to CCAC playing there?
It's definitely a different scale. I mean, we had to get used to it's different playing on a court when the walls aren't right by you. It's kind of a different perspective when you're shooting. And with only about 10 minutes to warm up, it's kind of hard to get used to. But, I mean, the atmosphere was great.
Just take me through the day of the game. I know there was the whole shot clock malfunction, which caused your game to go back. But even before that, you guys really seemed to be loose. You guys were playing kickball with the little ones. Just how was it? Just instead of a practice, okay, let's play kickball.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a great idea that he did. He had us playing kickball and just different types of games in practice. We would do a game and then do a drill and then do another game, and it got us all relaxed and got the nerves out of us. So,
I know it was actually Concordia that made the Sports Center top 10, but how do you feel about that the team was actually able to get on Sports Center's top 10? I believe they were number 9
yeah.
on that one day. That must have been a cool experience, at least just to be shown on there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we got to line ourselves up against them and see that, on any given day we could have won that game.
I hate to do this, but I know, I think you know what I have to ask. I have to ask you just, how are you feeling now after the whole doctor fiasco and the whole head injury, and just, I know how much you were itching to get back out on the court.
Yeah, it was a difficult 20 minutes, but I'm doing a lot better, yeah. Just have headaches, but...
How did that shot, the 31-28 shot that you made to beat the buzzer, how did that kind of thing feel, just knowing that you had put momentum back on Point Park's side, and that was just tie game, whole new ball game again.
Yeah, I mean, I was ready to go for the second half. I wanted to play, but yeah, and that shot was big, and I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously it was a disappointing outcome, but it must have been a pretty cool experience just to be able to go to nationals and everything.
Oh, definitely.
So, once it was all over, and you had to come back, and the break was basically over by the time that happened on Thursday, and you were coming back to Pittsburgh. What was the feeling around the team?
The first night or two after that, it was rough. I mean, we all just couldn't believe that the season was actually over. I mean, I know for me this was probably my most fun season of basketball of my life, and I think most of the other girls feel the same way. So it was difficult. It's still difficult, and not seeing those girls every day is going to be tough, but hopefully we'll all still get together.
Describe for me Kristen Beatty is going to be gone. Kristen Veselina unfortunately couldn't be in, but she's not going to be able to come back. Jocelyn Peterkin's not going to come back. April Lawson, I think, is able to play the second semester if she chooses to. Just how big of a loss, and Emily Anderson, of course, not to be discounted as team manager, is also going. I would be remiss not to mention that, but how is it going to be losing all of them, if not, perhaps April might be half the exception there, but just what it's like, what they brought to the team, both inside, on the court and off the court.
Yeah, I mean, 4 starters, that's tough to lose, for one, but also just the energy that they bring off the court and leadership ability that they bring. I mean, it's a big loss, but we just have to move forward from it.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I asked this to a lot of players for when we finish up the season. Who do you think was the team MVP this year?
It's really difficult to say with this team, honestly. I mean, we have different games where different people step up, and it's hard to put it on one person. I could name probably 6 or 7 people that had MVP type games, so it's hard to say.
Obviously, Coach stresses defense. This is the last question. I'll get you out on this one. Coach stresses defense so much. Not to quote the governor, but you will be back, and Katrisa will be back, 2 of the biggest defensive fronts, and then from there you have players such as Haley Sauer, who very well could take over for April, at least for the first part of the season. You have Maeve Gallagher coming back, just among others. Just what are you looking forward? I know Coach told me, because I told him, I'm sorry I can't go to Iowa, I'm sorry I can't go to Iowa. Okay, we'll be back next year. Do you really believe that the sky's the limit for you guys now that you know what you are as a team and you can go back next year?
Absolutely. I mean, I think we're coming back with a solid core. Some of the girls that you just named, and others that will step up, and every person on that team can be a threat on offense and defense.
That was Emily Schartner from the Point Park women's basketball team. We are due for a break again. The time is 5:40. We're going to wrap up the show when we come back here. This is A to Z Sports here on the Voice of Point Park, 670 AM, WPPJ Radio.